Jordan, how are you?
I'm good. No complaints. Life's going well.
Awesome. We just talked about it, but your fro's a little bit shorter.
Yeah, growing up, I always had a half or a 1 tops. So I didn't comb my hair, and my mom didn't like that. It looked raggedy and nappy. So when I was cutting my hair, I saw the 7, and I'm like, well, that's got to be humongous, because I've always done a half. And then I did 1 row, and it was like way, way shorter than I thought. And that was like a month and a half ago, so I'm a little bummed. I was liking the fro, but now it's gone. But in about a year, I guess we'll be back to normal again.
A couple checkups, man. How's dad life?
Good. Baby turned 1 in January, and she's not quite walking, but she's taking a few steps. And she's mischievous. She gets into things, and she loves to chew lint, like to pull lint off some pillow or a blanket. She'll like rub her clothes for a bunch of time and then make a lint ball and eat it like gum. So that's really annoying. And then yesterday, she painted with her poop. So, I mean, there's good things, but right now in the forefront of my mind is the gross things. But it's pretty awesome.
Did that year just go kind of fast?
Yeah, the year did go really fast, especially like when you're in camp, time goes fast. And like when you see your baby and you see them grow, it's kind of like a nice little like scale to see how fast things are going. And since she developed so quickly, I think it made time seem to go by even faster. Maybe when she's older and their pace of growth slows down, time will slow down again. But yeah, I feel like 2021 really didn't even really happen. It was like a blink.
The book checkup, we're 3 months in. How many books have you read?
I've read 12 books, and I have 88 planned for the rest of the year. I'm reading The Wheel of Time, and they're like, on average, like about 34 hours of reading. So once I finish those, I'll read through a bunch of short ones and catch up. But The Wheel of Time it's taken a lot longer than I anticipated. I'm not reaching any of the benchmarks and goals I had planned out for the year meticulously. I'm supposed to be like at 22 books, and I'm not there. So I think my readings could go better, but I'm enjoying myself, and that's the important thing.
That is the important thing. So we talked fight night, but we haven't talked since then. It's been 4 months since your fight, 3 months since your fight. How'd you feel about that performance?
It was okay. I was pretty injured last camp, and I was like deciding. I almost like dropped out a few times. So I was very hesitant the first round, and then I gassed myself out trying to squeeze his head off. So then not only was I kind of a head case, I also was tired. So after the first round, I kind of was like, okay, this injury is not flaring up right now, and I feel confident. I feel happy about the finish. Everything else, but the inverted triangle, I can't much complain about that. Would have I liked a performance bonus? Yes, I would have, and I feel like I deserved it. But it was fancy and got some nice attention, even if I did get shadow banned the same day, so it doesn't reflect on my Instagram account, because whatever, Zuckerberg hates me or whatever.
I think that was a definitely $50,000 submission. What were some of the injuries that you were dealing with?
I broke my ankle in September. I jumped into a Naga tournament, so I competed in jiu-jitsu for free. I even paid to compete in jiu-jitsu, and I haven't done that in 10 years. And I got caught in a heel hook, and there was no pressure on the knee, and I tapped, and I yelled tap, but then he fell, and it popped my ankle out and fractured my fibula. So, yeah, that didn't heal. I mean, it wasn't out of line, and things worked out, and just some nerve damage. But besides that, and not being able to run or do a lot of things last camp, everything else went very swimmingly, but that's why I was particularly flat-footed that fight.
Jesus Christ. That is insane. Victor Martinez, did you know who he was before you got offered him?
Yeah, I watched Contender Series because I'm always like, okay, because I'm a young up-and-comer. On Contender Series, people are young up-and-comers. So I watched his fight, and he fought a talented kid, and he broke the record for most significant strikes landed for Contender Series for my weight class. Which, is kind of a deceptive stat if you ask me, because in Contender Series, it either is a boring fight or a person gets starched in 40 seconds. So does the record mean that much? We'll see. Do I think he's a break a record in my face? I hope not. I'm very excited because I think he has a black belt, which is cool. I haven't tapped a black belt in my fight career yet. And he has, on paper, better striking, and he has good cardio, a lot of good things. and I'm very excited to challenge myself. And I was a little nervous, and it's been a while since I've been nervous.
Yeah, so you kind of already talked about it, but I mean, what do you think of the matchup?
I think it's a really fun matchup. Like, I think I'm gonna get hit. I do think I'm gonna get hit this fight. Like, I've been hit like twice on the feet in my UFC career. I do think I'll get hit more than twice this fight. I think Victor's gonna bring it. He has a good gas tank, very annoying stomp kick to the knee, so I want to avoid that. But I feel really good. I think it's probably gonna be a decision. If I had to put money on it, I'm hoping for a first round finish. I promise I'm gonna try to deliver that, but I think I'm gonna have to dig deep for this fight, and that makes me excited.
So you say it's a decision, and so far in your 3 fights, you've had a slam KO that went viral, then you lost, but then you had an inverted triangle. So I mean, I think another crazy finish might be in the pipeline.
I mean, there hasn't been a gogoplata in the UFC. There's a few things I can be the first person to do, and that's kind of the goal. I want to do something fancy, because fancy brings the bonus, and like, I'm a fancy lad. So, yeah, I mean, I always prepare for the decision in my head, and the submissions and finishes just happen. So, you know, I plan to pick them apart for 15 minutes, but if I get a finish earlier, that would be swell.
So maybe gogoplata, maybe keep that in the back of our minds?
Oh yeah, gogoplata, buggy choke, toe hold. If it hasn't happened before, look on the list of like submissions that haven't happened. I'm probably going for those 11 moves, I'm not gonna lie, at least once.
I mean, I know you've been working pretty hard on your striking, maybe we get a standing knockout.
That's the dream, you know. I can't blame all the fans around the world for thinking I'm a specialist, but I promise, you know, Alex has seen me spar, I promise I could strike. I got good kicks, I got clean boxing, it's just when you fight you go to plan A, and no one's really been able to stop that except for Claudio, who was a better wrestler than me. And so, kudos to him, he fights this weekend, give him a try. Give him a gander on his fight, you know. But yeah, plan A has always worked. When plan A doesn't work, if Vitor sprawls 1 or 2 times, you're probably gonna see me strike, because I'm not gonna be the person who's gonna shoot for 15 minutes and just get pasted. But I promise maybe these hands will make their debut, you know.
What's your plan for 2022?
Ooh, I would love to fight 3 times. If I fight in April, then August and December, that would be awesome. As you know, any ideas about who I'm gonna fight? I don't. I have no idea who I'm gonna fight, because the division's so, especially 55, everything shifts so much. And maybe I'll fight some guy off the contenders for this upcoming season in April. I don't know. But I want to fight 3 times. I want to bring 3 fancy finishes for the fans and get on my 3rd contract. And then we'll see if I can get a ranked opponent early next year, end of this year.
I was going to ask you, so is this the last fight on your 1st contract, or is this your 2nd contract?
It's my 1st fight on my 2nd contract. So I'm finally lower middle class. And that's a pretty nice place to be. So win this fight, I'm gonna be pretty comfortable. So, you know, all blessings, I'm very thankful, I'm counting them.
Awesome, and finally, kind of 2 big things in the lightweight division. Justin Gaethje fighting Charles Oliveira. I just wanted your thoughts on that fight.
I do think Charles is probably gonna submit him in the 1st round. I mean, Gaethje can knock him out, and Charles does get hurt every 1st round of all of his fights since like ever. But I do think Charles is the better, you know, fighter. I mean, Khabib was on top of Gaethje for like a total of 30 seconds, and he was asleep. And that wasn't even like one 30-second section. It was like 15 seconds, 15 seconds. So I don't feel like he could close that gap. But you never know. Perhaps Charles won't be able to take him down, but I'm feeling that Charles is gonna walk through some bombs right away, get dropped, and then Gaethje's gonna, you know, step back and make him stand up, and then he's gonna take it out and submit it. And that's what I'm hoping, because I can't root against Charles. I love Charles Oliveira. He deserves it.
Islam Makhachev is like the big thing right now. I mean, are you on that hype train with him?
I don't want to be a hater, but I'm kind of a hater. He's kind of in the same situation as Leon Edwards. Like, he beats everyone that's put in front of him, but he hasn't had really a top quality win. And he's been calling out RDA for like 6 years. We already know RDA can't stop wrestlers. Like, you're not gonna look tough calling out RDA and laying on top of him for 15 minutes. So I think he's like Khabib, but he cherry picks his fights more. I think he will probably be champ eventually, and I think he's a very special fighter. But I don't understand why the fan base is so excited about him, because up until a year ago he had like 2 finishes in the UFC, and he's amazing and he's much better than me. So I'm not saying like, oh, I'd smoke him, because I probably wouldn't, you know. But also I'm not very hyped about Islam Makhachev. He's amazing, but he's no Khabib, and he's no Charles Oliveira. I just feel like everyone else in the top 10 has such a way more interesting story, and it's easier to get behind them. But when you've kind of been like, you know, brought up and tutored and mentored by a bunch of these giants in the sport your entire life, it's kind of like expected you're going to be really good. So like it's hard for me to root for you. You've had like the golden spoon in your mouth. So yeah.
And then you mentioned Khabib. He just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. I just want your thoughts on him as a fighter, and do you see him as the best lightweight of all time?
It's hard to say. I mean, he has less title defenses than Benson Henderson. I mean, and Khabib only has like a handful of quality wins. I mean, Tony Ferguson's win streak is more amazing than Khabib's entire UFC career. I mean, Khabib's best win is Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor, and that win looks worse the longer it goes. Like, the farther in time we go, the Conor McGregor win means less and less, and RDA. And then some people say Justin Gaethje. But like, that's like 4 quality wins out of like, I think 13 UFC fights or something like that. And Ferguson fought killers on one leg, and the UFC was against him. Everybody was against him. He fought 5 months after blowing out his knee. He did rehab himself. So I just feel like, no, I don't. You see a lot of fighters like Dominic Cruz saying like, well, when I see an O at the record, it shows me that you didn't push yourself. I'm not sure that's true. You can't blame him for not fighting the best. He's always called them out, and a lot of people ducked him. But no, he left too early. And you know, I think he's amazing. But Benson Henderson had better credentials than him. BJ Penn had better credentials than him. Like, you look at it on paper. Even Frankie Edgar, pretty amazing stuff. So I think he deserves the Hall of Fame for sure. I think it's a little soon for him to have been inducted to the Hall of Fame, though.
What do you think Khabib's legacy is going to be?
I think, especially if Islam Makhachev goes on a win streak, continues, everyone's going to basically say Khabib left too early. I feel like Khabib got out on top, like GSP, but GSP was champ for a decade. He came back from a catastrophic injury, came back, re-won the belt, and left on top, 2-division champ. Khabib, you know, fought really bad opposition, and then had like 5 good fights in like a 2.5-year span, and then left. And he had a good reason for leaving. You know, his father and coach and mentor passed away, and he didn't want to fight after that. And I can't blame him, but he didn't clear out the division. So it's kind of hard to say where his legacy is going to be, because it's also the most stacked division. So there's never been a lightweight champion that will clear out the division. Like, I don't think you could like win 10 fights in a row and then have no one else left. So it's hard to say. I think he's one of the best fighters of all time and one of the best lightweights. And I think he could be any lightweight on any day, but we don't know because he didn't test himself.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for your time. And we're all looking forward to your next fight. If you want to plug any social media, plug any sponsors you got, if you want to thank anybody, floor is yours.
Oh, yeah, no sponsors. I'm not that good yet. But I just want to thank Iridium, my management agency, my gym family at Syndicate MMA. If you want to follow me, you could catch me at Monkey King UFC on Instagram or Mr. Jojo Monkey King on Twitter. I don't use the Twitter, but it's there.